Good afternoon. We are live and recording whenever you're ready.
Very good. Thank you, Troy. Let's all come to order, please. And let's begin today with an invocation from Reverend Darren Kessler.
The Smiles was a British author and government reformer, and he said, "The duty of helping oneself is the highest sense involves helping of one's neighbors." I appreciate those here who serve in helping others and our neighbors. Let's pray as we ask God for His help as well. God, we thank you for the public servants here, giving their time, giving their energy, some putting their own lives in danger for others. So I pray for them. Pray for what's discussed here today, for how it's discussed, that there would be a servant's attitude, to be kind and help each other's neighbor. Thank you that we can ask you for your help in these leaders here. In your name, Jesus, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Pastor, for those words of peace and grace to begin our meeting today. If everyone will please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, turning to the county attorney for the purposes of certification of the agenda.
The county attorney's office reviewed all items on the agenda. The board has appropriate jurisdiction over all these items.
Thank you, Counselor. Do any commissioners have any disclosures for any items on this agenda today?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, nor do I. So we're going to go right into our ceremonies and proclamations portion of the meeting today. And for the purpose of introducing the Officer K-9 Memorial Project, Douglas County Sheriff Darren Weekly.
Thank you, Commissioners. Sheriff Darren Weekly. I'm joined by Captain Dan McMillan, who's the captain of our patrol division. And it's my honor today to introduce a young man by the name of Sam Callery. And Sam is a very remarkable young man. Sam is working on his Eagle Scout project, and his project is to build a monument in front of the Douglas County Justice Center. And I don't want to steal too much of Sam's thunder here. He's got a wonderful presentation. But I am a former dog handler myself. I had a dog in the late 1990s. These police canines are part of our family. They protect our handlers. They protect our law enforcement officers. They are often called upon to put themselves in harm's way to protect the handlers and to protect our community. These dogs are truly special. As a handler, I can tell you I spent more time with my dog than I did my own family. And fortunately, when her service time was up, she retired and got to become just a regular house dog. But these dogs have a legacy, and they have a legacy within our organization. So with that, I would like to present you with Sam Callery, and I'd like for Sam to come up and give his presentation for you for his idea, and an idea that I, as the sheriff, fully support.
Awesome. Thank you, Sheriff. Sam, come on forward, young man.
Hi, I'm Samuel Callery, and I'm here to talk about my Eagle project. So about me, I belong to Troop 770. I'm now an incoming sophomore at Valor Christian High School. I've completed all the necessary merit badges to receive the Eagle rank, and I enjoy baseball and playing the drums. So the objective of my project is to honor all the canines that have served with a plaque and podium memorial. So phase one would be the plaque and podium. So the podium would be made of cinder blocks with rebar inside for stability, and the outside would be made of false bricks. The plaque is similar to this. We have some life-size versions of the one that's already ordered and on its way. So it's 24 by 18, and it has individual tiles for every dog that's served and the year and its name, the years that it served. In the background, there's an American flag with an inscription that says, "A partner ever faithful." So this is a architecture drawing that a person from the community was nice enough to volunteer their time to do. It shows the cement pad that would have to be poured at the bottom, the podium and plaque. There is the smaller inside square, and then the bigger one is a statue that, if we can raise enough money, would go alongside it. So there's two location options for this. Both are in front of the Justice Center. So a location would be my personal choice because it's got two lights already there and a bench facing it. The B location is along the sidewalk beside it, and it's a pretty good location too. So materials, we need concrete, cinder blocks, the stones, a granite slab would be placed on top of it, and then the plaque would go on top of that. And then we would buy the 30 extra plates for the remaining slots for dogs who will serve in the future. And so the total of the plaque is around $5,000, and including the podium, it's about $5,500. So another Eagle Scout did a similar project in Georgia, I believe. And this is how he built his. Ours would be built out of cinder blocks instead of pure cement, but there would be cement inside of it for support. This is what his finished product looked like, but ours would be mounted on granite. So people building it would be Scout volunteers from my troop. Friends of the family that are construction professionals have volunteered their time and said that they would come help. So the timeline would be, building the first part would take about 2 weekends. So we would buy the materials and set the cement the first weekend. That way it has time to dry. And then we could build the surrounding pillar with the plaque and stuff the next week. And then phase 2 is a bronze statue, life-size, of a German Shepherd. It costs about $7,000 and is an option if I can fundraise enough money for it. This is what the dog looks like. Those are the dimensions of it. It's pretty big. I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, it's about $7,000. So fundraising, my family has fronted the money for phase 1 to ensure its completion. And in order to raise enough money for the project, I'm going to talk to veterinary clinics. And yesterday, our website went live where people can donate online. And then I would also reach out to friends and family and canvass door to door. If I can't raise enough to complete phase 2, or if we go over what we need, all the excess funds would be donated to the sheriff's office. And I plan to raise around $15,000 because it's around $14,400 for the whole project, and maintenance is important, plus it's always nice to have a little extra for just in case. Thank you for your time. That's all.
All right, thank you, Samuel. Questions from the board?
Did you have something else to say, Sheriff?
If I may also, Friends of Douglas County Canine has also agreed to also partner with Sam on this, and they have decided that they would also help raise money for Sam. And Sam will also have a booth at the Douglas County Fair and Rodeo as we are doing our canine demonstrations during the rodeo. And so his booth will be out there. So if people are interested in donating, they can donate at the fair as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Sheriff. Questions from the board?
Where can you go if I'm interested in donating?
Hey, hang on, everybody. Hang on. Let's see if the board can help answer that question and maybe some others. Questions from the board?
Well, I had another question, but I'm going to ask if the public wants to help, how can they help you?
Just donating, any donation would be greatly appreciated. It's a pretty expensive Eagle project, and I'm very excited about it.
So do you have a website that people can go to donate on the website, or how can they get you money?
There will be a Facebook post from Douglas County later today or tomorrow.
Yeah, the sheriff's office will be pushing it out on our social media, and we'll make it available to everyone to ensure that they can donate through the link.
Perfect. Sheriff, if you'd like to share that with me. And the Eagle Scout, Sam is agreeable, I'd be happy to put it in my weekly newsletter,
Okay.
but that's up to you and your family.
Yes.
Okay. Make sure, I'll get a hold of the sheriff afterwards to know how to contact you to get the information to put it in there. So I'd be happy to do that. Thank you for doing this. While I was a major at the State Patrol, I had he was actually a trooper who came to me and said, the State Patrol needs to have canines. And I'm like, how are we going to do a canine team for the state of Colorado? And how are we going to pay for it? And that's what I said to him, and he said, I'll take care of it. And he came back about a month later, and he had a plan, he had a funding scheme, and it worked. And we had dogs, and I supervised dogs and their handlers. And what I learned through that, like the sheriff just talked about, is the really special relationship that is developed between the handler and the dog. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity, and thank you for using this in your community.
All right, well, Sam, great job. This is quite a project to take on as a scout project, but you feel like you're up for it, right?
Yes.
All right, sounds like you and your family are willing to make the initial financial commitment to get it done, and sounds like your fundraising is off to the races. Thank you, Sheriff, for volunteering so that we didn't have to volunteer for you to help out. This is great. This is what a great thing to do for an Eagle project. I mean, this is a project that has the opportunity to lasting into the generations, which not every scout thinks about when they do this. They think, hey, what can I do to just check the block and get my Eagle badge? So I commend you for going the extra yard and doing something for your community that I'm sure the Sheriff's Department will appreciate it going into the future, and I'm sure any community members who find themselves at that location will very much appreciate seeing your work on display for years to come. Commissioner, do you have any objection to directing staff to work with the Sheriff's Department to also probably spread the word on fundraising efforts?
I would be fine with that if the sheriff and the scout and his family are in agreement.
Absolutely.
All right, we got all affirmatives. Doug, is that something we can get Wendy on and make sure that we can push that information out as well? All right, well, very good. Well, Sheriff, thank you very much for bringing this one to us. And Samuel, once again, thank you very much for stepping forward to do something for your community. And then, do you got everything else done for your Eagle badge? Anything else to do beyond your project?
There's a couple small requirements I have to finish, but this is kind of the finale.
All right, well, get it done, young man. It's the first best gift you can give yourself as a man is to get your Eagle Scout. Over and over again, I was a Life Scout, and I was a Life Scout for life. But get that Eagle Scout. It's the best gift you can give yourself. It's the first gift you can give yourself as a man. All right, thank you all very much, Sheriff. Again, thank you. Is it time for a picture? But of course it is. Samuel, if you'll come on forward here, bring your dad. I think that's your dad right there. And Sheriff, come join us as well.
Here, I can take over. I promise I'll bring it back.
What a great way to start a meeting. All right, well, our next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. Are there any members of the community that would like to come forward and speak on any item on the consent agenda? Seeing none in the room. Troy, do we have anyone online who would like to make comments on the consent agenda items?
Thank you, Commissioner. I have no online comment.
All right, thank you, Troy. How would the board like to dispose of the consent agenda today?
I have a motion to approve the requests in all items A through AD of the consent agenda.
I will second. Any need for discussion?
I have none.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the consent agenda is approved. All right, going to our regular agenda items for today. All right, we have a resolution adopting an abandoned property policy. Holly Ryan, Chief Deputy Public Trustee for the Treasurer's Office, presenting.
Hello, my name's Holly Ryan. I'm with the Douglas County Public Trustee's Office as the Chief Deputy, and I appreciate you hearing me on this resolution today. The proposal is a resolution where Douglas County is allowed to hold abandoned funds for different periods, some 5 years, some 6 years, where you get to collect the interest on those funds while they're not being collected. And then at the end of that term, have those funds go to your general fund. The reason this came up is under the Public Trustee's Office, when we hold a foreclosure sale, once in a while, we will receive funds over and above what's due the lender. So, say for instance, you have a foreclosure sale for $300,000. A third party comes in, bids that for $350,000. That $50,000 over and above what is owed the lender is considered overbid under the statute, and that's under 3838-111 that talks about overbid. The Public Trustee's Office under the statute first pays the overbid money to junior lien holders that file an intent, and there's a bunch of process. Any balance that isn't duly claimed by any junior lien holder goes back to the borrower, and a borrower in foreclosure is the party obligated under the note for which the deed of trust was foreclosed. So in certain instances, we have overbid money that over the course of 6 months, we cannot locate the owner, the obligor we call them, but the borrower cannot be located. After 90 days, we've sent out a letter. We also do publications in a local paper. And if 3 months after the publications, we still cannot locate them, they're deemed overbid. And under 383811-3A2, it states that unclaimed remaining overbids that are equal to $25 or greater that remain unclaimed within 6 months of the date of the sale are considered unclaimed property. And for the purpose of this, under the revised Uniform Unclaimed Property Act, those funds must be transferred to the administrator or the state, which means the Great Colorado Payback, or transferred to the administrator or to the general fund of the county. To send these funds to the general fund for the county needs to have a resolution that says these overbid funds can be given to the county, how they're going to be held. The interest is yours for the period that has been specified. Under this resolution for the public trustee, it's set at 5 years. There's some funds under the treasurer that are set for 6. So you would hold these funds in a special account where the county gets to earn the interest. And then if anybody comes forward during that 5 or 6 year period and claims those funds, then they would get paid out to that borrower, the obligor. If not, at the end of 5 years, those funds would be turned over to the general fund for you to use as you choose. Right now, the Public Trustee's Office has $295,102.36 that we would like to give the county to hold in this unclaimed fund and collect the interest on, since we've been able to find the borrower to give them these funds. If a resolution is not adopted, then we must, by statute, turn the funds over to the Great Colorado Payback, and then the state will get the interest and hold those funds. We also have a new legislation under 3911.5, which is a new treasurer deed process that just went into effect on July 1. Part of that new process is that if somebody requests a treasurer's deed 3-4 years after somebody has bought a tax lien sale, that those now have to go through a process where there's a public auction. So before a treasurer's deed can be issued to a party, there has to be a public auction, and that potentially can also result in overbid funds that, again, may go unclaimed if we can't find the original property owner that the tax lien sale was issued on years prior. So that's why the treasurer and other departments are listed in this resolution, so that the county can potentially hold unclaimed funds from multiple departments and eventually have them fund your general fund. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll be available for questions if anybody has any.
Okay, thank you, Holly. Questions from the board?
Yes, thank you. So how often do these situations arise where there's extra money that comes in through the treasurer's office on these sales of, I guess they're property deeds?
The property deeds is a new legislation that just went into effect July 1. We won't have any treasurer deed sales probably till October, but I'm not sure how much that would be. When it comes to public trustee foreclosures, we see several $100,000 per year go to the Great Colorado Payback for unclaimed funds after we've tried to contact the borrower, send letters, do publications. I think in the last 2 years, Douglas County, in overbid funds without a resolution, has deposited over $1.2 million to the Great Colorado Payback for overbid funds that were unclaimed.
So if someone has a bank account, say they have $1,000 in a bank account and they forget about it, eventually that bank account is turned over to the Great Colorado Giveback, is that right?
That's correct.
So if this is approved, then that would also come to the county?
No, we would only be talking about funds that go unclaimed within our department. So anything for a specific property address that went to a foreclosure sale that resulted in overbid funds would be held by the county in this unclaimed fund instead of giving it to the Great Colorado Payback, and that at a certain amount of time, those funds would be eligible to go to the general fund of the county if not claimed.
Okay, I had texted the treasurer to clarify this because I read this packet last night. And I had looked at the Great Colorado Giveback website. And so what you're telling me is nothing from Douglas County that goes to the Great Colorado Giveback site will be affected if this resolution is passed, other than overages from sales of property that the treasurer's office handles?
That the public trustee's office handles, yes. This would be a resolution that is specific as to certain amounts of funds. I think on page 9, it talks about the Douglas County treasurer, and it talks about warrants and drafts and all that, which are like uncashed checks and different things that right now, I think once a year, if anything's gone uncashed, that you guys do a collection for all the different departments, and then those can be turned over to the Great Colorado Payback. So those, if a replacement check isn't issued, would also be allowed to be held by the county and eventually paid to the general fund. But mostly it's for overbid on, I think, page 9, section 3, where it says overbid under 100.3, 17.3, where we're talking about foreclosure sales specifically, that any overbid, like in this case, we have, over $195,000 that's gone unclaimed. Instead of giving that to the Great Colorado Payback and the state getting the interest and holding those funds to get them to the obligor, this would allow the county to adopt a resolution where you would hold these funds, you collect the interest, and then at a date certain, according to this resolution, would be 5 years. If they go unclaimed, then they go to your general fund. And then at that point, they're considered fully abandoned and nobody can make a claim towards those monies.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. I don't have any questions. I kind of ran through a lot of this with the treasurer when he first approached. So thank you very much, Deputy Ryan. Appreciate it. With no further questions from the board, let's go ahead and open it up to public comment. Is there anyone who'd like to come forward and speak in public comment on this matter? Seeing none in the room. Troy, do we have anyone speak in public comment on this resolution?
I have no public comment, sir.
Very good. Thank you, Troy. How would the board like to dispose of this resolution?
If I could just clarify this one whereas, this is the second whereas. It says whereas during the course of those interactions and transactions. So if we're specifically just talking about routine business between Douglas County employees and members of the public, then I just want to be really sure that we're not going to be taking, like I talked about, the abandoned bank accounts. Nothing like that is going to be responsible, that the treasurer's office won't be responsible for anything like that. It is truly for business that's being transacted with the treasurer's office or the trustee's office, the public trustee's office.
Yes, ma'am, that's the correct interpretation of that. And it could be technically any agency, but really the agency that has the most interaction with the public would be the trustee's office.
So if the sheriff's office were to impound a vehicle, and I'm talking about a nice vehicle, not a junk one that we just want to get rid of, and the owner maybe has charges on them, and so they're not going to come forward and collect their car, and that car becomes abandoned, that's not something that the trustee's office would be responsible for.
No, and I believe that if the sheriff's office is explicitly exempted from this.
Okay, thank you. Then, if you don't have any other questions, I'm happy to make a motion.
Motion, please.
I have a motion to approve a resolution adopting an abandoned property policy.
I will second. Any further discussion, Commissioner?
I have none.
All right. There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And resolution is adopted. Thank you, Deputy Trustee. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate your time today.
All right, moving right along, let's go to citizen comments. At this time, you are welcome to comment on any topic other than those that appeared on today's agenda. This is an opportunity to share your thoughts and ideas with us. Please state your name and where you reside prior to making comments. You will have up to 3 minutes. Now, any obscenity and any comments calling for criminal or violent action are prohibited. Commissioner comments, if any, will follow all citizen comments. Is there anyone who would like to make citizen comments at this time? Yes, ma'am, please come forward. And ma'am, you are not a stranger to the board, but please give us your name and tell us where you're from.
I'm Linda Dawson, and I live in Highlands Ranch. Commissioner Thomas was sued for a federal crime, and she was exonerated. She was found innocent. Commissioner Layden told me after the June 25th meeting that she was found not guilty of a federal crime, but had not been exonerated from a civil crime. I took this question to County Attorney Garcia, and my question to him was, could you provide documentation that Laura has committed a civil crime? And his answer was, the county has not asserted any civil claims against Commissioner Thomas, so unfortunately I have no documents to provide in response to your question.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else who would like to make public comments at this time? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward, give us your name, tell us where you're from.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
My name is Cindy Lipsinski. I live in Lone Tree area. I would like to, I'm here once again today to speak for what is right and good. It's past time to restore Laura Thomas fully to all committees that she was formerly on, amend previous censorship, and allow her to represent the citizens of her district. Once again, I'm asking for unity and civility on behalf of the citizens of Douglas County. We have been speaking to you at these meetings for over a year and a half, and as promised, we will persist until both Abe Layden and George Teal do the right thing. I understand that several months ago, Abe, in front of witnesses, extended an olive branch and promised to restore Laura to her committees, but to date, that has not happened fully. Am I correct in that, Laura?
I'll answer your questions at the end, Cindy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. We are in danger of losing this county to the destructive and dangerous left. The Democrats want to destroy this county as it is the last best hope of Colorado. The world is full of beta males and narcissists, and woke mind virus is creeping in. I am asking that the two men that this commission, on this commission, be alpha males. This community needs you to lead, serve, and stand up for what is right and true. We look to you to speak on our behalf, not on your own behalf. Please step back and look at your public image. People talk about you. You are highly visible. Please note that perhaps the people closest to you may not be telling you the truth. George, your Democrat opponent, Angela Thomas, is coming for you and gaining support every day. Many Republican voters choose not to mark your name on primary because of the significant undervote. Please take a serious look at your image, actions, and try to retain your conservative position on this board for our sakes. Support your fellow commissioner, Laura Thomas, would be a huge first start. We are going to lose this county to Democrats while you wallow in Laura Thomas derangement syndrome. Your character assassination of Laura may have caused her to lose a primary for HD 43 to Matt Bertram, an unknown, unproven, untested entity who came out of nowhere. Your endorsements and support for him could cause further erosion of common sense and common good. And this candidate has virtually disappeared after the primary, and to my knowledge, is not even campaigning, while his Democrat opponent, Bob Marshall, is everywhere, campaigning and garnering votes. We are going to end up with a Democrat in the State House for Highlands Ranch once again. My point is your persistent, needless attacks on Laura Thomas help no one. They must stop. Please restore Laura and allow her to indeed represent the district. I am praying for both of you. May God soften your heart and open your eyes to truth. And one more last statement. Please do not put the sports complex by Rock Canyon High School. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your comments. Is there anyone else who would like to make citizen comment at this time? Yes, ma'am. Come on forward. Please give us your name and tell us where you're from.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Dalton. I'm a resident of Lone Tree, here on my own. Unity. There is a cry for unity for GOP to succeed in November. Yet, George, this is the last thing I see from you. George, while running for re-election as commissioner, you may have noticed your undervotes in the primary. I don't think that was an accident, nor do I think this election will be a walk in the park for you. I have yet to learn about your vision for Douglas County, nor have I seen an effort to unify with fellow Commissioner Laura Thomas. Instead, I only see hatred, jealousy, division, and blockage of her at every move. When I spoke in May, I was greatly encouraged by your April 30th team meeting. With great unity, you all voted to uncensure Laura. Yet it is July 23rd and no statement has been forthcoming. Despicable. You have also blocked Laura's video depicting her efforts since 2018 to add Judicial District 23 to Douglas County. Neither you or Abe were even on office at the birth of this new district. This was and has been Laura's pride and joy, yet you have denied her recognition. Despicable. It is also despicable how you refuse to pay her $5,800 in legal fees. It is despicable to citizens that you deny her committee work and chair. Your libelous and ridiculous postcards were such low-class dirty tricks. Who would ever or should vote for such a despicable person? It's only a hop, skip, and jump from Lone Tree to Sterling Ranch, too. Anyway, George, for your sake and for the sake of Douglas County, we ask that you please change. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your comments. Is there anyone else who'd like to make citizen comment at this time? Katie, come on forward. You're not a stranger to the board, but please do give your name and tell us where you're from.
I'm Katie Barrett. I live in Castle Rock, and I'm going to ask the commissioners to not comment at the end of my comment. Thank you. We've come full circle with me in front of the county commissioners. I first started talking to you in 2019 when you were on a bent to arm teachers in schools. And as a former teacher, I spoke against that crazy idea. Your stance on firearms is wrong, inhumane, and signals that irresponsible owners with firearms is somehow acceptable. The former president was allegedly injured by an AR-style rifle, the long gun of choice for mass murderers, a weapon that shoots 45 to 60 rounds per minute is nothing more than a killing machine. I know their killing power. I used to shoot an AR-15 in competitions, and I know how easy they are to shoot. This means we have put a tool designed only for maiming and killing in the hands of unskilled and damaged individuals. The military asked for a rifle that didn't require 3 months to train their soldiers. The AR is easily learned in just 3 weeks. Let me be clear. The Democrats do not want your guns. We want you to be responsible owners with your guns. Safe storage in homes and cars prevents not only thefts, but lives. A properly stored firearm would have prevented the STEM shooting. Properly stored weapons prevent suicides and homicides. Are you also pushing back against safe storage in automobiles? This is the #1 source of illegal weapons in our country. The latest statistic is 112,000 stolen in 2022, but that's wildly unreported numbers. Concealed carry training. I have my concealed carry permit. I've been to many concealed carry classes, and one was held in the back room of a bar where drinks were served. The largest class I attended was at a reputable standalone firearm business. 40 people in my class, 1/3 had never touched a firearm. Fortunately, this class had live firing, but it was disturbing that 15 people in this class had never touched firearms and were walking out with their brand new firearms with no skills. I leave you with the Florida radio station show caller who thanked the 19 children for dying in Uvalde in service of the Second Amendment. This is not who we should be. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else who'd like to make citizen comment? Angela, come on forward. Of course, give us your name and tell us where you're from.
My name is Angela Thomas. I live here in Castle Rock, and I'm the Democratic nominee for District 2 County Commissioner on the November ballot. I wanted to speak today about an issue that seems to highlight to me one of the main reasons I'm running for this position. That issue is transparency and ethical leadership. Recently, you brought forth a proposal to remove the sporting fields located at the fairgrounds. Only certain groups were sought out for comment until the word got out about this proposal that was in the works. And now your board has brought forth a proposal to build a sporting complex between Monarch and Griggs Road, just south of Highlands Ranch. Again, the word got out and you were forced to bring it to the public's attention. In the PowerPoint presented at the town hall, page 19, there was an image on that PowerPoint presentation that was a design, I have it here, that shows HRCA base camp, an indoor facility, another indoor facility, a number of appears to be maybe soccer fields or possibly tennis courts, I'm not sure which. And then, following the town hall, that image on that PowerPoint changed. And what's published now is just the outline of the proposed Wildcat Regional Parkway. That seems to be a bait and switch for folks, and that's very unfortunate. What I see is not transparent, but an attempt to hide the real effort here. A $250,000 feasibility study is in the work. Where's that money coming from? Are the private investors going to pay for that study? Have you looked at this property? The grading alone will cost millions of dollars before one structure can be erected. What will the benefit to the community of Highlands Ranch be? More traffic? A need to pay a private group to use the facilities? If tournaments are brought in, where will the people stay? The traffic is already increasing along Monarch Boulevard, and the other access is directly through neighborhoods. Folks bought these houses believing they would be backing up to open space. What of the elk who roam that area, the golden eagles who nest there? Is it not part of the Douglas County Master Plan to preserve our wildlife and our open space? I oppose this project completely. What will the benefit be to our residents? I support the deeding of this land to the HRCA for them to do what it was originally intended, a passive recreational regional park. I would encourage the board to work with the HRCA to make this happen. We can't just trade sporting fields in Castle Rock with for-profit sporting fields in Highlands Ranch. Let's get creative and seek a better solution for all of Douglas County, and let's stop the apparent backroom deals. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Those comments were very appreciated. Is there anyone else who would like to make public comment at this time? Jill, come on forward. Jill, you are not a stranger to the board, but please do give us your name and tell us where you're from.
My name is Jill Campbell, and I'm a Highlands Ranch resident, and I played soccer, and I was, now they're playing in France, and that's the national team that will go to the Olympics if they win in France. So I was we were Olympic development teams in 1984 through 88. Pele came in 1976. So as the face of sports change and 50% of women are playing and they are looking for new complexes and exciting new things, I find it incredibly great that you pay $250,000, which is a very small price, to pay to study the land. They have not made a proposal. They've done studies. They're doing studies to see where they can accommodate the athletes, the great athletes in this county, the incredible athletes, and the wealth that supports those athletes. $250,000 is a small price to pay. So when I'm reading from a Douglas County 2023, that I would read on the regional sports complex, and it says this. So when you're looking at a facility, and you have to, excavate the land and build buildings. It costs money. We don't have a lot of wood, and we are facing a lot of change in this county. It has come from a very small, as Laura has spoken herself, that the development of this county, she used to sheriff this, and I've heard George too, and the water issues and all the thing that costs money. What you value is what you value, but the value comes from excellence, and if we create excellence, then you pay a price for it. If you don't like to put money or fields there, they're looking at expanding the rodeo place, which accommodates more of those equestrian, the people that value that kind of thing. So Augustine said it well, and you can look on your own face page. I'm not going to do your research because it's right there on the Douglas County thing showing that it is a research. It has not been a proposal yet. They're looking at land to build for a change, to accommodate the more and more people that want to come to this beautiful county of Douglas County. So Augustine said it well. When Rome fell, it was a city of gold. And Augustine wrote about our democratic nation. The Puritans came across here to our land with the idea of the city of God. Are we going to be a city of gold and worship our own image, our golden calf? Or are we going to create what we love, which they have, the artistic of this great county? That's why I moved here. Incredible beauty here, unimaginable beauty. We're on vacation every day. Go to Five Points. Go to my friends their eyes are rolling back in the heads when they can't get water, even going to get a bathroom at a gas station on Colfax. We are blessed people that can bless others. And blessings come and you pay a price, and the price is the dollar, which is not the life.
All right, thank you, Jill. Your comments are very much appreciated. Is there anyone else who would like to make citizen comment at this time? Yes, ma'am. Come on forward, Kay. And Kay, please do give us your name and tell us where you're from.
Someone has left their notes here. Jill, are these yours?
The Boy Scout.
Oh, okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies. Catherine Michelson, Highlands Ranch. I've been here before, and I want to say that in my lifetime, I have chaired several large boards from Fairfield County, Connecticut to the Vail Valley. All boards were governed by Robert's Rules of Order. And it has been a mystery to me how two commissioners have so handily and consistently been able to censor one commissioner here in Douglas County. With this in mind, and backed by the Cora laws of Colorado, I downloaded a copy of the Commissioner's Manual. It's a 25-page document containing lots of good stuff, like govern with excellence, accountability to citizens, inspire confidence, duty, loyalty, ethical business-like conduct, listen, represent, serve. The chair ensures integrity. Be civil to one another. Page 9. Seek to resolve a matter expeditiously. Expeditiously, great word. We've been coming here a year and a half. Conduct themselves at all times respectfully and civilly toward one another. Positive, productive, professional workplace. There was one rule that I didn't agree with. It sounded against the freedom of speech, First Amendment. Commissioners will exercise reasonable discretion when deciding to speak with non-board members about board matters. This actually was covered later in your manual under confidentiality. And as I say, as a chairman of several boards myself, I always sought professional advice so I could advise my boards. So what's this all about? Okay? When you begin to treat the multi-talented Commissioner Laura Thomas as an equal, after all, she got more votes than either George or Abe. When you begin to treat her respectfully, when you begin to treat her like a peer, when you begin to unite your board, therefore showing unity as you all are voted in as Republicans, then we will stop making our visits to your chamber, except maybe to come and listen to this wonderful presentation this morning with Sam and Sheriff Weekly. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Kay. Is there anyone else who would like to make citizen comments at this time? Seeing none in the room. Troy, is there anyone online who would like to make citizen comment?
Thank you, Commissioner Teal. Yes, I have Steve Ostrowski. Hopefully I said that right. Steve, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make a comment on the property tax refund checks that were mailed and make you all aware that mine and likely others seem to have been lost. They were sent July 11th, I'm told, and should have been received by now. I've not received mine and contacted Douglas County's department a few times. They get sent to finance. I think it's very reasonable for the check to be reissued, but they're telling me the policy is that uncashed checks would be credited to next year's tax payments. But having not received my check, I don't even have a chance to cash the check. So it's not really an uncashed check. It's more like a lost check. And I think waiting until next year for the refund is really not fair if people never received the check. Not only do I lose potential for interest on it or for using it for immediate payments, but also if I were to sell my house before the next payment's due, I would lose that refund and it would go to the next buyer's benefit. So I'd like the board to allow the finance department to reissue checks that are not received by constituents after some reasonable amount of time. That should be a rare exception and not cause significant costs to the county. I think it's very reasonable to reissue a check when it was never received, and I think we would all expect that of any of our payers. So I've sent an email to the board as well and hope you'll resolve that issue in my circumstance, but also make this clear for any others that may not receive their check. And if I've heard that wrong and I'm getting wrong information and that they can reissue a lost check, I'd appreciate knowing now so I can go back to them. That's all.
All right, thank you, sir. Very much appreciate your comments. Troy, do we have anyone else online to make citizen comment at this time?
That completes online comment, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Troy. Coming back to the board, Commissioner comments. Commissioner.
Thank you. I'll start with the questions about the Wildcat Regional Park. That was a 202-acre park that was dedicated to Douglas County in 1996 by Mission Viejo. By law, as the developer is building homes, they are required to set aside land for parks. So the county has been holding onto this 202 acres since 1996. The homes in the Hearth and others were built after 2005, after that land was dedicated to be a park. So if realtors were telling people that'll always be open space, there's 8,200 acres next to the 202 acres that will always be open space. And there are already 26 passive trails on that property. What happened, just to clarify all of this, is last September, I had people come to me saying, I have money for an Olympic pool. In fact, I have access to an Olympic pool, and we cannot find property. Can you find property to help us? And we are a nonprofit. We will build this amenity for the public to use. And after people came to me about an Olympic pool, there were people who reached out to me about baseball fields and also soccer fields. And then a gentleman reached out to me that he had access to funds to build a covered sports complex for kids so that they could practice and play during the winter. But he was struggling to find land. That's when staff met with all of these nonprofits. They're not for-profit, they're nonprofit, and looked at this land and developed that initial sketch. There has been no really formal proposal. These are ideas that have come forward that we have been working on. Last fall, I met with Mike Bailey at the Highlands Ranch Community Association and talked to him about this plan since it abutted their 8,200 acres of backcountry. Also, HRCA has a boot camp over off of Highway 85. It's a day camp. And I talked with Mike, as has staff with HRCA, about moving their boot camp where it's currently in a zoning violation over to this property off of Griggs, which would be more accessible to the people that use it. And I've been talking to Mike Bailey at HRCA about this project since October of last year. And I was shocked about 6 weeks ago when I met with him, and that's when, after all these months of HRCA's telling us, this is a good plan, we like this, we'll support this, meeting with our staff on the project as well, telling us we now want you to give us this property. I really struggle with that because this is property that was given to the citizens for the use of citizens for a park. So nothing has been decided. All of this is still in the discussion phases. But this is an asset that belongs to the people of Douglas County. And if we have people that are looking to build this amenity with their nonprofit dollars that will benefit all residents, I think it's responsible government to look at all the options before any decisions were made. Considering we had been talking with the Highlands Ranch Community Association about this for over 6 months. So Angela, nothing is final. Everything is being considered. And that is the process that went to the Parks Advisory Board last week to see if this is appropriate for a study, as Jill talked about, for how this might work. Is it appropriate, if it's not a good land for a park, for HRCA to buy it from Douglas County? So Douglas County has funds available to buy land, to provide space for all these amenities that our citizens want to enjoy. Government moves slow for a reason. And it is moving slow because there's lots of things to be considered, and this is part of the process. No answer has been decided. I am still hoping that Abe Lading came to me in January, asked for us to come together and to reinstate me to everything. There was a really nice meeting on April 30th, and the agreement was that a statement would be made. And Commissioner Teal agreed with the statement. Commissioner Layden did not. We worked on the statement again. We shook hands, Abe and I did, and then later Abe decided he did not support that statement after all. So that's where we are. I will continue coming to work and being prepared and doing what I think is right for the residents who elected me. I know that board policy talks about a duty to care and a duty to loyalty. My loyalty belongs to the residents of the county. I'm required to be civil, but I'm not required to be loyal to the people I work with. And that's my belief, that my loyalty and my responsibilities lie with the citizens, and the decisions I make are all tailored to the citizens here in the county. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, do you have an objection to directing the county manager to look into Mr. Ostrowski's issue with his refund check?
I do not. I have not heard about this before, but I do know that there are several people that have not yet received their checks. Doug is shaking his head yet. Do you have more info, Doug?
Just that this falls in the family of those that have a trust. So as we're learning more about that, I think Martha might call for some workarounds, but as you know, that's kind of the bulk of our calls, or people that have put their home in a trust and how that would work. So we'll give them another call and discuss options and report back.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think that sounds okay by you, Commissioner. All right, Commissioner, I'm disappointed that you explained the process to Ms. Thomas, as robbing me the opportunity to do so in a candidate debate. You can treat that as a joke. That's fine. But oh well. Now she knows. She can't use it against me in a debate. That's cool.
There was no ill intent, George. I was answering the question, so.
I told you to treat it like a joke, Commissioner.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not playing politics here. I'm answering a question.
Roger that, and very much appreciated. I'm sure Ms. Thomas, appreciate it as well. Hey, folks, this Friday begins the Douglas County Fair and Rodeo. We'll start off at 4 o'clock by opening the fairgrounds. Fairgrounds admission is free on Friday the 26th. Castle Rock will be having a cattle drive through downtown Castle Rock from 6 to 8. Marketplace is open. Food vendors open at 4. The Kodiak Ranch Petting Zoo opens at 4. Seth Hild Music will be on the Midway stage at beginning at 4:30. And then there's a festival juggler even starting at 5. Of course, Chris Jansen will be performing in the outdoor arena beginning at 7:30. And folks, get ready for 2 great weeks of Douglas County Fair and Rodeo. For those of you who spoke today about unity, well, what a better place to come together than our own Douglas County Fair and Rodeo. And with any other comments, Commissioner?
Yes, I do have a quick comment. I even brought show and tell. This is the flyer for the junior livestock sale that will be held not this Friday, but next Friday, August 2nd. And it starts at 5:30. 6 o'clock is what it says here. I'd be here at 5:30 to make sure you get a good place. This is where these 4-H kids who have been spending the last year raising animals, whether it be steers or chickens or goats or ducks, are going to parade them around the arena and sell them in an auction that's fun-filled, fast action, and then they use that money for next year's animals or for their college. And the commissioners are there every year. We buy an animal. Sometimes we bought a turkey or a goat. Or ducks or chickens. We've done all of those since I've been a commissioner. But this is a lot of fun. It's a good way to see the good work that our 4-H kids are doing. So thank you for starting to talk about the fair, and I hope to see many of you at the junior livestock sale the following week, August 2nd, at the fairgrounds. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Very much appreciated. Let's move on to other business. Is there any other business before the board today? All right, County Manager's report. Nothing further. Okay, thank you, sir. Let's go ahead and adjourn. Next business meeting will be held on Tuesday, August 13th, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. And folks, after we reset the technology, then we'll move on to our land use meeting and public hearing. We are adjourned. Thank you.